Hi there and welcome back to 355 Code. Today we'll be doing another Karel Program tutorial. If you're not familiar with our Karel program, it is basically a way to practice JavaScript and learn JavaScript in a fun and simple way. And it's very visual. You can see here on the right we have an interface, and everything that you write here on the code on the side, if you follow these instructions, you'll be able to see here on the right. And that way you can practice different JavaScript features, and today we'll be focusing on functions. If you don't have this code in front of you, please check out our other video which explains how to get this Karel program started. But I'm going to assume that you've seen that, and you've seen maybe our video that kind of introduces the basic Karel commands, and we're going to jump right into how we can use Karel to learn functions. Okay, so first of all, let's tell Karel to do something. Okay, so let's say we want Karel to make a move like a rook in a like the horse in a chess game. Okay, so that would mean Karel would need to move forward 3 and then turn right and then move forward 1. Okay, in this kind of L shape. I know there are several different ways that you can move in chess, but let's just focus on that simple one. Okay, so if I wanted to write code without a function, I would just write, okay, Karel dot move, okay, and then I would have to do that twice. I can copy that over twice, and then Karel dot turn right, okay, and then Karel will turn to the right, and then move one more time. Okay, so if I run the code, make sure to run first in solo learn and then run in our Karel program. So Karel will move forward 3, turn right, and go forward 1, and that makes that L-shaped move. Okay, and let's say I wanted Karel to do that twice. Okay, so I can copy this code and then copy it again and run the code, and then Karel will do it twice. Okay, and I can keep on copying it over and over again, and Karel will keep on doing it. Okay, but now you can see that I have 8 lines of code here, and this move is actually something that I want to repeat. I want to store to use again, and that's where functions come into play. So to create a function, we use a keyword called function, and then we give the function a name. Okay, so let's say we're going to call this one horse move, okay, because it's like the horse in chess, and this is the function's name, okay, and you can see that you start off lowercase, and then if you want multiple words, then you make those uppercase, okay, so horse move, and not like this, okay, and not like this, okay, it has to be all connected. And then we have a set of parentheses, and I'm going to explain that soon, and then we have curly brackets, okay, and then basically this is a package, and inside here we are going to put everything that we want to happen when we run this package, okay. So I'm going to copy this code, I'm going to put it in here, I'm going to erase this code here on the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to format the code. And, okay, you can see here that everything is indented. Okay, so that visually it's easy to see that it's inside the function. Okay, even if it's not indented, it will still run because it's inside the curly brackets, but it's hard to see what belongs to the function and what doesn't belong to the function. Okay, so now if I run our code, nothing happens. Okay, and that is what I expected, because we created our function, but we also have to run the function, or what's called call the function, in order for whatever is inside to actually happen. And the way that we call the function is just by writing the function's name and then a set of parentheses. Okay, and then if I run the code, then you can see that Karel moves. Okay, so basically this whole bundle is equal to this. Okay, and I can prove it to you by, let's say, even writing it 3 times, and then that will create our function 3 times, so we'll run it 3 times in a row. Let's run the code. Boom. Okay, I hit a wall because Karel was going to the side, but it was going to run for the third time. We can even add, let's say, one more move here. It'll be an extremely long movement, and then run again, and there we go. Okay, so basically, you can see here that this saves us space and time, and by that little change that I made before, you can see how much it's helped us be organized in our code, because instead of having to change that 3 times, I only had to change it once, and it changed the whole thing. Okay, so that is a basic introduction to functions. Now, I want to explain one more thing about functions, and that is parameters. Okay, so basically, we can instead of just writing out a function that's going to be the same thing every time, okay, we can make changes to each time that we run the function based on a certain variable that we put in the function. Okay, and the way we do that is by adding something in between these parentheses over here. So let's say I say color. Okay, so now every time that I run this function, I'm going to have to give it a color. But nothing here requires a color. So let's add a put ball. Okay, and here we can tell it that we want to use our color parameter. Okay, and then when we call this horse move function, we put the variable that we want, the value of the variable into the parentheses. So let's say here I say blue, and here I say red, and here I say yellow. Okay, so that means that when this function runs, color will be equal to blue. When this function runs, color will be equal to red, and when this function runs, color will be equal to yellow. Okay, so let's try running that and seeing what it looks like. Okay, so you can see that each time it ran, so everything was the same except for this thing that we just had to change. And if we wanted to put multiple parameters, then we can just add them after and use commas to separate each one. But the order is important, okay? And when we pass them here, when we call the function, they would have to be in the same order. For example, if I had another one here, and we called that, let's say, times, okay? And then here, instead of carol.move, so I would do, let's just say console.log times, okay? So if I say blue, and then I say 3, and here I'll say 2, and here I'll say 1. Okay, and then I'm going to run the code, and you can see 3, 2, 1. Okay, so each time that the function ran. Okay, and but if I accidentally switch these around, okay, let's say I do 3, and then here I write blue, and then we run our code, okay, then it'll console blue, but it'll put down a red ball because red is the default for put ball, okay? So that's basically how you can use functions in Karel and in JavaScript in general, but using our Karel program really helps you visualize what's happening each time that you run a function, and it really lets you play with JavaScript in a very interactive and fun way. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.